Hey everyone, my name's Liz. I decided to start a vlog. I've never vlogged before. Wanted to talk about the human experience, ascension, and whatnot, but I think I'm going to start with how the healing process of getting away from a narcissistic ex has been. Seems to be the hot topic, at least on all of my social media feeds right now. A lot of people going through a lot of it as well. I don't even know where to start. I didn't even really make notes for this. I'm not even sure if I'm going to post this. But it's rough, and I don't know how else to say it. If you've never dealt with narcissistic abuse, this may not be for you. You may not understand. You really don't understand it till you've been in it, and I never thought that I would have to experience this. I know I gave the wrong person a chance, I guess, after 4.5 years, but it really it's not that, because I chose to see the good in him, and I tried encouraging him to be a respectful, decent human being for that much time, and at the end of the day, it was his choice to continue doing what he was doing and saying otherwise. Narcissistic abuse is mostly psychological. There could be physical abuse in there too, but it's a lot to unpack. And I didn't really make notes about this because I've envisioned just talking about it in my head enough while I was healing the last few days and going over some things. I guess I'll start like a little backstory. Unfortunately, COVID happened when we moved in together, and wasn't really working out, but it was just like kind of got stuck, and then kind of like an excuse for him to do his thing. That's kind of when the illusion broke, that he was saying one thing and doing another. It was like always like future faking, everything's gonna be better, we'll get a house, I'll treat you well, and I'll start treating you right. It's always that. I'll start treating you right after we had issues and I almost left. I mean, I broke up with him probably like 7 times in 4 years, but just due to circumstances, like, just he didn't leave and I couldn't leave, and just this year I had to pretend that everything was okay for the last 2 months after him threatening to kill me, and still living with him because our lease was up in March, but this was in January when he started doing all these things as a last resort, because he wanted to stop working. He wanted to stop paying bills because those things sucked so much. A 40-year-old man saying that he's not going to work anymore or pay bills because they suck. It's like the ultimate temper tantrum he had. And when I didn't want to play ball, and I was already paying for everything as it is the last few years, and he was paying the bare minimum, always had an excuse to not pay his full half of the rent or contribute, and all the IOUs started building up, and I was just like, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to pay for you to sit on the couch and watch TV all day while I'm working 2-3 jobs and still having to cook and clean and everything, because he just couldn't be bothered to do that. But it got scary this year, and I know a lot of people have it worse, and a lot of people feel like they're stuck and can't get out of these situations, and I had to turn everything upside down. Like, I left a job that was the greatest job I've ever had in my life. Great people. I even left the city, moved states away, just because of this man. And it's hard to rebuild your life and yourself after all of that. Years of walking on eggshells and not doing this or that because you don't know how he's going to react. it's hard to explain, like, how does someone get into that situation? And it's not willingly, at the end of the day. It was constant trying to change the behavior of him, and he didn't take that well. So then you just have to start changing yourself. Then you lose yourself, you lose your friends, you lose a lot of things, just to try to keep the peace in a household that you feel stuck in. And but when this year, when I didn't want to do this anymore, it's like the last breakup, and he had the most epic temper tantrum ever, throwing stuff. He never threw anything at me, but he just threw things in my general direction. It was my fault that I was in the way. I always had an excuse for his behavior. And it's hard, I know. At least it didn't get physical until the end, but that was my cue to really get out. And I even feel bad. I feel guilty for pretending that everything was fine and that we were going to get a new apartment together, a new lease together, just so that he wouldn't freak out. But one day when I planned this for 2 months, and I had my mom come out without, anybody else knowing, and she drove 14 hours to come get me. But it's like right when he went to work that day, because he finally found a new job, like a couple weeks before our lease ended, and I thought that would be enough to save him, and I would be like, oh, that's so great, we'll just stay together, because I knew that even then, like, I'd just be stuck, because his money was his money, and as part of his epic temper tantrum, I didn't say this, but, like, he blamed me for taking all of his money, like I was pocketing, like, his half of the rent in a savings account or something, making interest off of it, But no, it's like, I was still, like, $20,000 in debt paying for everything, over the years, and, everything's expensive now. Rent doubled at the time, and it was just kind of, like, stuck. He was supposed to pay more, he just never did, and it's one of those things. But yeah, so my mom came out, and she was, she stayed at a hotel, basically gonna pull right on in the morning when he left, and, it was 8 o'clock, he left the door, I made sure his car actually left, and then I started finishing packing. I threw away a lot of stuff. We basically just filled up 2 cars worth of my stuff, and we left. I even scheduled the internet to be cut off a couple days after that, just so they wouldn't cut it off early. Like, all these things that you think you never would have to do, or sneak around and pretend that something's going on and one thing, and then just to escape a situation. It's weird. Like, it's not who I am. It's not who I ever thought that I'd have to be to get out of a situation like that. It's scary. I know a lot of people who are in abusive relationships, they really can't get out, or feel like they can't, and I was there for the longest time. I felt ashamed. I could have asked for help probably years ago to get out of that, and I didn't. It was that last point where he basically gave up and told me, like, this is how it's gonna be, like, no more pretending to pay for things and do the bare minimum. I was just like, he wanted an easy life, and I wasn't gonna give it to him. And then I became the enemy. I don't want to upset anybody, but this is just my story, and it's, I'm cool. It's like, I'm fine, but the last point was that he told me he was gonna slit my throat just because I didn't say good morning to him one day. Like, that's how ridiculous it became. Because I was the rude one, apparently. Which is funny because I actually did say good morning that day, because I was walking on eggshells so much it was just an automatic thing, but he was walking away at the time and probably pretended he didn't hear me. He was doing his thing, so. But, you know, that's not love. That's not a healthy relationship at all. It's hard to imagine loving and caring about someone and trying so hard to make it work, and they don't reciprocate. And at some point you gotta realize that, and it took me many months to realize this after healing and being away from that for now 6 months, a little over that. It's like, you know, he made his choice. It was a choice to treat me that way. You know, now he's claiming that he's sorry and he's seen the error of his ways and he wants me back, and, you know, he's gonna treat me right this time. Like, it's not gonna happen that way, no. You know, after breaking up with him so many times when we were together, it's like, he had so many chances and said that he was gonna do that before. Sorry. But, you know, human beings are gonna be human beings. You really, no matter how much love, money, time, support you pour into someone, you know, they're gonna choose to do them. They're gonna choose to treat you their way. They're gonna see it their way. And there's really nothing you can do at the end of the day. And it's the hardest thing to realize that with someone you think that you were gonna have a future with and build a life with and you cared so much about, but actions really do speak louder than words. When they're telling you one thing and continually doing another, it wears you down, you know. Then they start acting okay. It's that, you know, love bombing phase, as everyone calls it. It's like, okay, you give you pieces of the self that you hope that they would be. Little by little, breadcrumbs, and then it just gets worse and worse. But you keep trying. And at the end of the day, you just have to realize that they made their choice. And they're going to continue to make that choice, no matter what you do. And you got to save yourself at the end of the day. You got to try to rebuild and find yourself again. And that's the hardest part right now. You know, things I used to enjoy and do, and he always had an issue with me because, you know, if I left the house, I was going to be cheating on him or something, and all of my friends didn't agree with the relationship. I mean, they saw what I couldn't see, and so they all fell away when you know, for various reasons. So it became a very isolating experience, and I know a lot of people get stuck like that as well. With, I mean, luckily I have my mom. Finally, I asked for help, and she helped. But a lot of people don't have that or feel like they don't have support. And if you're stuck in that kind of situation, try to find some sort of support. Even if you have to break everything yourself and just start over, it sucks, but it may be the best thing. Again, because you can't make anybody do what you want them to do. No matter how much love and support and money, they're really gonna do their thing. So, what's helped though, because apparently, you know, all that living in survival mode and fight or flight, your cortisol levels are up. They say your hippocampus, I know, kind of shrinks. I think it's just a psychological response where you start forgetting things, but not on purpose sometimes either. It's just your body just starts protecting you. But after, I've noticed lately, like, after I finally calmed down enough, you know, memories are coming back. And even though my trauma bond was there and I he's used every excuse, even threatened to kill himself to try to get me back. It's been the hardest thing to just not contact him and like play that, because the memories are coming back, and it's like, it is worse than I ever thought it was. Like, I was always making an excuse for his behavior. He always had an excuse for his behavior. Childhood trauma, blah, blah, blah. Again, I mean, I have childhood trauma, and I choose not to destroy other people's lives. So, you know, it's a choice. And it is the hardest thing to realize that someone you really love is not going to match you on your level. The golden rule is out the window with narcissists. Like, they don't treat you like you want to be treated and how you treat them. Even though they're going to say that over and over again, they're going to do it right this time, or sorry. I don't believe it anymore. But it's still hard. It's heartbreaking. But if you are going through it and you want to try to wrap your head around it, I made a list, and someone recommended this, but it's just 4 things. It's like, write down what you miss about them, what you don't miss about them, what you're free to do without them now, and then I just have a general what I remember list. And it's all slowly coming back. I slowly fill it out. It's not like it's been done in a day, because it's a lot to unpack when you're healing from narcissistic abuse. And then just trying to find yourself again is the hardest part, really. Getting okay with what you had to do to survive, and to get out, even though you may have done things you don't ever want to do again, or think that it's, you know, right for you. It's like you have to play their game at some point, I think, unfortunately. Like me lying, acting like everything was fine, especially the last few weeks, was the hardest. I really didn't sleep or eat. I didn't want him to figure anything out, because I had to start, you know, actually purging some of my stuff. And so when he'd leave the house a little bit, I'd grab, you know, 1 box, go out, put it in my trunk, because he never really checked that, luckily, to donate or to throw some stuff away. And even like the night before I left, I was hiding the fact that I kind of got rid of some furniture already, because it was just impossible to do all that in the morning when he left. Because we had a good 14-hour drive to get going, after packing up the cars and handing in the keys, my keys and whatnot. But yeah, I don't even know. I hope this helps somebody. Like, I don't need, like, I'm fine, you know? I mean, I'll be fine. I love the support, but it's really like, I just want to share this for someone maybe going through the same thing, and realizing that, you know, it's okay to feel like you failed in a relationship. It's not really working for you. I have a no-quitter kind of mentality. My mom's always called me a quitter, unfortunately, because even as a kid, I didn't want to do what she wanted me to do. And I always wanted to be an artist and a writer and whatnot, and she wanted to be a doctor, and everything I didn't want to do on her schedule caused me to be a quitter in life. So I carried that mentality up until my 30s, and now it's like, I tried so hard, I didn't want to quit and fail at another relationship, trying to make it work, and at the end of the day, you just gotta realize this person is saying one thing and doing another over and over again, and, you know, he may want to get back now and he wants to treat me right now, but he had 4.5 years to choose that as well. This wasn't the first time, you know, we've broken up, and I've had enough of this, and I was seeing the abuse, but it's like, circumstances just didn't work out. He would never leave. I was always giving too many chances, and, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, he was just ready to screw me over. you know, financially, psychologically, physically, you know. The bruises started happening. I was like, this is never going to happen again. So, you gotta do what's best for you at the end of the day. In terms of relationships, you're never going to please someone. They're going to have to deal with their stuff at the end of the day. And there's really nothing you can do. You just have to come to terms with that. I think in part of the healing process, that it's a choice. And I'm not going to put myself in a position like that again. At least not with him. Yeah. Hopefully this helps someone. Again, just kind of do you. Your intuition is really strong. Your love is strong. And if you are going through something like this, you are strong. You can make it happen. It's gonna suck. I'm not gonna lie. It's not gonna be fun starting over. Even if you have to escape, somehow it's like you don't know what's next, and that's the fear thing. It kind of keeps you in the relationship too. It's like, cause they start using that against you, and like he was always like, oh, you know, you'll never find anybody like me. You'll just be dying alone. And at this point, I'm excited to die alone after what I've been through, honestly. Like, I'm not looking forward to the next guy relationship right now. Which is part of the healing process. I'm sure I'm gonna get over that, you know. I keep telling myself that, you know, I'm unfortunately straight and I'm just gonna be more happy dying alone. But that's really not true either. Like, that's the ego dealing with its thing, and it's fine. It's a temporary mentality. But you just gotta do you, you know? Healing's rough. It's not linear. One day you think you're fine, and then roller coaster ride of memories and what ifs. And it's like, you know, your trauma bond, codependency maybe like rears up a little bit. It's like, hey, maybe I did make the wrong choice. Maybe I should give him a chance. And it's like, no. He had plenty of chances. And he chose not to. Again, that's what life is. It's just choice. I choose still to see the good in people. I have way more boundaries now. It may be a brick wall, but at the moment, but that'll come down by the time I'm ready to talk to guys again in the future. But this is gonna be me healing for a while. And it's okay to take as much time as you need, even if it's years. You know, there's no set time period to heal or get okay with or trust again. It's just something we all have to come to in our own time. It's what I've learned about ascension and the human experience, really. It's like, in all of our healing, it's like, we can read all these self-help books and see other people and have their experiences influence us, but it's like, we have to do what's best for us. We all have different levels of trauma and experiences that we work through, and it's okay if it takes you longer than someone else. At least it feels that way, but it's really not that. Yeah, try to write those lists if you are going through this and trying to heal. Again, what you miss about the person, what you don't miss about them, what you're free to do without them, which expands on what you don't want, you know, you don't miss about them, because like one of it is kind of the memories and the other is the actions now. Like, what I'm free to do is talk to my friends again and make new friends and do what I want to do, because I always was given crap about playing video games. I was like, I'm a gamer, but apparently just sitting on the couch watching his shows was what we had to do, because I didn't spend enough time with them or whatever after working 2 jobs and paying for everything. Who knows, right? I just wanted to chill. But, you know, I'm free to do me now. And then, your memory list, what you remember, may take a lot of time. You know, as cortisol levels come down, you start remembering things, your memory comes back, your brain heals. I know, like, scary thing about the hippocampus shrinking, everyone else says about narcissistic abuse, I don't think it's permanent. It heals. You heal. Your body actually is pretty strong and healthy and will heal you if you allow it to. But it takes time. And when those memories come back, it may be rough. But write it down, get it out of you. That way you can see and remember for when you do feel like giving them another chance and you're like, maybe they have changed. It's like, but look at all these other things they did when they had the chance to change, and they didn't. So it does help your brain, that cognitive dissonance, it kind of makes that go away. Once you can actually remember and see and understand that you tried all this stuff before and they still did all these things. But, you know, thank you guys for listening. This is not exactly how I imagined this video was going in my head, but I missed a lot of details, probably. But we'll be back. I feel like when I can wrap my head around it more, maybe actually make some notes and do something official. But I'm going to try vlogging about the human experience in different ways. How I came to light language is next. I've been wanting to talk about my journey to spirituality. But then all this nice healing from personal issues is still on the forefront of my need-to-do list right now. So take your time. You know, it may be hard with work and kids and school life, but the quieter you become and the more you can relax out of that situation, even if you're still in that situation, try to find a place that you can actually just stop and start processing. Like, it will get better. It does get better. And don't try to give yourself so much crap about how long it's taking or what you've been through. Try to remember who you are as a person. You may be loving and forgiving and accepting, and it's the hardest thing to realize that someone you love is not going to be the same. I understand that pain. At the end of the day, we got to do what's best for us. This is our life. And yeah, I keep saying that. But it's ultimately just choice. And you realize that you're choosing one thing and they're not choosing you at the end of the day. You got to make a choice too. But you guys are awesome. Thank you for all your support, love. It's not necessary, but I appreciate it. It's been great. If you guys want to talk about anything, just reach out. More is coming. I'm sure I'll do a recap or an update on my healing journey here and other things I've maybe come to realize. Make some notes, like I said, and prepare a real video. But we're at 30 minutes almost, so I'm gonna say thank you and goodbye for now. Hopefully I can get to talk more about just the journey in general, different ways to heal from different things beyond narcissism, because that's a pretty niche healing right now still, so not everyone's experienced that or understands it. But I love you guys. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back soon with a new vlog. Bye.